See, Lenny hates the word retard because that's the perfect definition of him. I know. And he don't want others using the word against him or people who are similar to him who don't have an excuse of a truly person born disabled that way. And now, his problem is he acts normal but has a mental block in his head. Meaning, he thinks it's okay to attack innocent people who he don't even know and make up shit about them when he doesn't know nothing about them. That's the problem there too. See, my motto is don't start nothing. Like Will Smith said, there won't be nothing. Who started this confrontation? Lenny. All I was doing was putting up videos of me singing and doing impersonations and fun things like that for educational purposes as well. Now, if he has a problem with that, it's in his head, not mine. I don't know what the hell he's talking about half the time. Trying to accuse me of molesting my stepdaughter when I was sleeping on the couch. How could that involve me unless she was coached before she even got to me, retarded? That's another reason why you're retarded. Children, unless she wanted some water or something, and then all she would have had to do is ask me for some water, and I would got her some water. Are not normally the aggressor when it comes to sex. Now, then you're talking some elaborate scheme between me and my wife where she must have said grandma in order for her to do anything with me anyway, or let the child do anything with me anyway. Now, the reason for that is I would ask her, did someone show you how to do that if she did something with me? Now, the point of that is if a child comes on to you in the middle of the night and you're not aware of what's going on, your job is to make sure, hey, why are you in here with me? You're not supposed to be in here with me. You're supposed to be in there with your mom. Right? If you're a 24-year-old heterosexual male who's just trying to get along in the world and you feel mainly heterosexual, though you've been a little bi-curious a little bit, but never went too far with it. If you are, you're generally monogamous in that area anyway. And try not to sleep around too much. So someone would sort of have to prove it to you that they love you before you would sleep with them anyway. Something like that. Now, point is though, I've been generally with females, not males. Now, this asshat on YouTube just wants to keep attacking my clean image. Like I even know who the hell he is or what this is about. Now, I'm not making this up. I'm just stating a fact for the case from my memory. Now, of course, the memory of a schizophrenic is not always reliable, but unless some kind of trauma happened, like a car accident or 3-story fall, there's no way to prove anything else happened as well. And again, if my wife left me stranded in Tennessee for some strange reason, and my mom knows it, and my ex-wife knows it, what's the problem with understanding I was afraid of her sleeping on the couch and just decided to move back to base before anything else could happen? Now, according to my ex-wife, that's what happened. So what you want to do is assume, because I said I could have molested her but didn't in one of my blogs, that's serious. That's no different than what you see on Special Victims Unit if you watch those kind of programs like I was doing as I grew up. Now, the main programs I watched was started out with Quincy, who was a medical examiner, who would, and also a coroner. He would examine both live and dead patients and generally dealt with more dead patients to help solve a crime. Then from there it went to a show on HBO, sort of like the Forensic Files on LN. Thing there is, what happened there is they would show different murder cases and how they would solve them. And then that went on to become a series on HLN. Now, from there, I went on to other shows like Oprah, Dr. Phil, who'll be on there for sometimes. And though he didn't get his own show for a while, but again, he was one of the main contributors to Oprah. And then there was Sally Jesse Raphael, Geraldo, and different shows like that. In 2020, of course, and then the one who started it all, Phil Donahue. And, of course, that's the main talk show hosts, if you're aware of them. Now, I didn't really watch Phil a lot when I was a child because I was mainly in school and things like that. Normal education of a child living in the South and raised in the South. I'm not saying I'm the smartest person in the South, nor am I the dumbest. But I have been around some good people and bad people. We all have. And I've had some strange things that happen around me that I didn't quite understand. But I knew what was right from wrong, basically, in certain areas. Now, if you're asleep on the couch and a child comes in there and either wakes you up with her vagina in your face, or you wake up with her watching you, or something weird is going on, your first instinct should be to ask the child why she's even in there with you. In other words, you ask her, who showed you that? Now, if she answers you, Grandma, you what? No, something's wrong. You know something's wrong. And you go in there and you tell your wife so she can either deal with it with you and her or call the police. Because that's what she's supposed to do. Now, since I was dealing with a mental disorder and they couldn't determine if it was schizophrenia or bipolar disorder, they diagnosed me as paranoid schizophrenia. This is not your typical case of schizophrenia either. Paranoid types are more prone to be afraid people are out to get them, or that the government's out to get them, or that there's a conspiracy going on. Even if there isn't, right, Daphne? But again, I'm not attacking my wife. You're attacking not only my credibility, but hers as well. Whoever's saying all this stuff on YouTube. Now, you're also doing so anonymously. Well, the only way I can defeat that is to tell you my whole life and what all I've been through. That's the point there, too. Now, if you don't want to listen, of course, I can't make you listen to me, but this is what they said happened to me in the 3-story fall in the car accident. Now, all I can do is show you the records they gave me. If you don't want to believe it after that, that's on you. Same with the neck injury. Now, thing is, I can't determine when the neck injury happened because Memorial released me a day and a half to a day and 3/4 after the accident. Now, that's not typical in any car accident I've ever heard of, but somehow I survived it, and I've heard of other people surviving like a spike through the neck. Now, what should have happened if the windshield collapsed on my head is I should have been not only knocked unconscious, but something should have happened to my neck, such as a broken neck or whiplash or something like that of that magnitude. And the report, according to the doctors, is I was crying out in pain. Now, I have complete amnesia, so I cannot confirm or deny this unless you're suggesting also that Memorial's committing fraud and making up the whole story. Again, you, not me. That's the point there, too. Now, my job is trying to figure out what's going on with me is I did have a dream about seeing what appeared to be a white dwarf star in front of a throne with me standing before it as if in a cloud. I didn't hear any voice or anything, but when I was reading about the two witnesses about when I was about 14, I sort of had what's called a manic bipolar type experience where I heard a voice say that's you, which I thought related to the dream when I was reading about the two witnesses in the book of Revelations. Now, I wouldn't find out later until they published a book called The Bible Code in 1996. Well, anyway, when they published that book, it talked about there being a code in the Bible, especially in the Old Testament. Well, I got me a copy of the New and found out my name was encoded in the New Testament as well. Now, see, I can't change that fact. It's become a fact. You might not like that fact, but it's a fact. It's a fact. And I didn't even know it when the voice told me that. And if it was in the Hebrew tongue, that means the voice that told me that's you also knew my name was encoded in the Hebrew tongue. Now, what does this mean? The voice could have just been telling me because of the dream and maybe it saying that's you. My name was encoded in certain passages in the Bible, like with Jesus and the disciples. Now, that doesn't mean I'm Superman or a superhero or anything like Jesus, but I do have a mission to feel like he did when he was here on the earth. I'm trying to figure that out too. And that's all I can tell you right now. Now, of course, I know you don't want to hear the message, but my job isn't to, do anything but try to understand it for you. And that's what I think Jesus wants me to do, is just understand the message he has for the whole world, even if you don't understand it yourself, and let sleeping dogs lie, which is what Lenny isn't doing. He keeps attacking me like the alien bug in the movie Men in Black. And like Will Smith, I keep saying if you don't start nothing, there won't be nothing. But he won't stop starting something, and I finish the conversation by doing videos on his dumb ass and calling him he's retarded because I don't want to talk to him unless you're a nice guy, and he's not a nice guy. You ain't getting my ass and being a mean guy. I don't play that shit. No mean guy can get my ass. I would sooner death before dishonor. In my book. Meaning I'll let you kill me before I'll let you rape me or do any shit like that either. And that could be the problem with him. I don't know. He's acting like some kind of sodomite rapist. Who wants to get me in the ass or something. I don't know. But he seems obsessed with me and my story. And I can't help that either. That's what he's acting like. Now, that don't mean I wouldn't be with someone who was in love with me either. But this asshole is not, even in the ballpark in that area. But again, there's a difference between love and marriage as well. I don't just fuck. I typically want to marry a virgin female, since I was taught that in, my belief system, which was Southern Baptist Christianity. Now, that taught me I'm supposed to marry one virgin from her virginity, and they prefer you to get legally married first. But I also read in the Old Testament that Moses said if you were to have premarital sex with a girl, and you went to her father and asked her hand in marriage, even if he declined, you were just to pay her dowry. But the way it worked then is if you do it with the girl, you pay the father a dowry. Now, some cultures want you to pay a dowry for marrying the daughter. In other words, the daughter's family pays you a dowry for marrying her. That's like in India and places like that. Well, that's fine too, whatever. Whatever floats your boat. But in typical Jewish fashion, though, the son-in-law paid more for the daughter and it was a little bit different. That's fine too. Whatever you want to do is whatever floats your boat. Now, we're not to judge each other in religious practices because no one's perfect. I mean, if you're a Jew and you eat a little bit of bacon on the bacon cheeseburger, the Lord won't strike you dead or send you to hell or stuff like that. You know that, right? Right. Nor will he if you eat a little bit of lobster or shellfish, as long as what? You're thankful for the things you have. Now, of course, some people get so religious, though, they don't see straight. Like the Jews and the Muslims and the Catholics a little bit. They get so religious, they want to kill you for believing differently than them. And that's a problem, too. Then they're acting like they're all perfect, and that the only way they can get rid of you is to murder you. That's bad. That's not good for them nor you, really. And, it's like with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Their stand was they would just worship the God that Nebuchadnezzar wanted them to worship. As would be my stand if someone wanted to kill me. Over whatever the situation may call for. But the point is, if I'm doing nothing wrong and you are, and you want to kill me for it, and I don't care if you want to do it with someone who doesn't want to do you with it, I just don't want you to do it with me. That's the whole point. unless you're in love with me or treat me right, I ain't gonna do that with anyone. And I ain't gonna let you rape me because I'll A, report it to the police, and B, I don't believe in that either. I don't rape male or female or hermaphrodites. I also found out in my studies that there is a group of human beings called hermaphrodites. Now, when Rome took over the church through Constantine, the Gnostics were talking about hermaphrodites or androgynous people. Now, if you believe in a trinity or three males, that God's image is thrice male, the trinity would undo that, right? Right. That would be an error. Well, yes and no. Here's how the trinity can work even if God is androgynous. You being a male, you have the male seed, right? But you also have the female seed to produce a daughter. Now, when you're Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, that's the male side. But when you're Mother, Daughter, and Holy Ghost, that's the female side. Now, that's still a trinity, male and female, right? Right. A trinity of males and a trinity of females. But there's also the hermaphrodite. Now, the hermaphrodite has the same sperm and the same egg, but they have double the chromosomes. Instead of 23, they have 46. And that means when they have a child, their child is 96 chromosomes and yours is only 46 or something like that. Or 92, somewhere in there. 92. And they have an X, Y, and XX. And when their sperm or egg impregnates a female, the female's child can be sort of in the middle. Neither fully male nor female. Now, sometimes they can even be what's called a true hermaphrodite or a true intersex person. Meaning they have all of it. They have breasts. They can sometimes grow facial hair. They can have a penis and a vagina and stuff like that. Now, I did this through medical research, retard. This ain't my doing. This is what Portsmouth Naval Hospital said in a book dealing with endocrine disorders, which is how they presented it as an endocrine disorder. And that's all I can tell you. So that's the point there. Now, if you mind your business, I mind mine. But if you want to attack me for shit that happened over 22 years ago and want to pretend something's going to happen between me and my stepdaughter when I was sleeping on the couch because I was afraid of my wife and trying to get back to base safely and would know immediately if the child was to come into there, then my only option would be to ask her who showed her that, period. And say, okay, she woke me up and put her vagina in my face and I asked her who showed her that and she said, Grandma. Right? Couldn't really do anything else with her either, or that would be suspicious. And like I said, even if I was suspicious enough to want to see if she was coached a little, all I might would do is, if she allowed me to, undress her gently, lick her one time, and maybe show her my penis, hypothetically, from there. But then I would still ask her who showed her that, and if she said, Grandma, that would be a real problem for my ex-wife. Which is why I'm not saying that happened. Again, you by attacking me are saying that happened. But again, if you're saying all that happened, and I wouldn't even know about that, because according to my wife, we both slept soundly through the night and nothing happened. And that's why I said that even if that were to happen, it would seem more like a dream. Not saying I really dreamed it either. Again, to mess with you. Because you're messing with me about something that couldn't happen under any circumstances in my life unless I was being enticed by the mother or entrapped by the grandmother or even Sal and his girlfriend or wife or whatever she was at the time, because she was with all them before she was with me. And of course, Daphne would tell them enough information about me that they could have done what they might have considered preventive measures so she wouldn't do that, but I don't know if it backfired or not. Like I said. So, unless she was coached to even come in there to me, how would you know she came in there to me? Unless you're the one who coached her, right? That's the whole point. Whoever's attacking me is acting retarded about that. I know. That I was, as being asleep on the couch, would be ready to move back to base anyway. And there probably could be nothing Daphne can do. And if she were to send her daughter in there to me, that would just make it worse. Because like I said, I would ask her who showed her that, because I've been around molestation all my life. One of my cousins could have been molested, things like that, and don't want to go into a lot of detail, but we all know the rumor mill. And there are good people and bad people in everyone's family, and you know who to stay away from and who to avoid in that area as well. Know what I mean? And if you're around it, it might confuse you a little bit when you're growing up around it. But if you get your head on straight and you know right from wrong, you know it's wrong for any child to make any aggressive move towards an adult who's asleep on the couch anyway. And your job is to tell her mom if she does that. That's all I'm saying. I would do if that were to happen. Now the problem is, after 22 years, Daphne could even convince the daughter something happened. I don't know. But I don't focus on that either, because that's called hearsay. Now, unless she has a perfect memory of everything that happened, even she would fail a lie detector test if they were to hook her up to a lie detector test, and she don't really remember if anything happened or not. Either. That's the point, too. You can't just make up a story, either Amanda or my ex-wife, and say, oh, this happened, without proof it happened. Now, if it went sexual again, there would be a cover-up of me and my wife both involved in it, right? If that were to occur. But the question is, who will be more guilty if she said Grandma showed her that? Again. Because I would still ask her who showed her that before anything would go down. And I would either bring her back into the mother, or would have went ahead and did what I needed to do. I mean, that's all you can suggest could have happened. Maybe. But if nothing happened, again, there would be DNA evidence what if something really happened too. See, that's what I learned from watching the other shows on TV. DNA. Now, back in 87, they started doing DNA things and stuff like that. All the way up to the 90s. They started developing paternity tests to determine if a child was your child and things like that. And even though I wasn't able to get one to around 2000 myself, because I went on disability and things like that. But at the same time, I all that means is I can't work a normal 9-to-5 job and get gainful employment. I might can work a small part-time job like at the Deli Mart or Publix or somewhere like that. That's it. It has to be around 20 to 26 hours, no more, no less. And that's the point there too. So again, and it's hard for me to get hired sometimes because unfortunately people do discriminate against disabled people, and they act like they don't, but really they do. In fact, Lenny is doing it right now by attacking me first and then expecting me not to call him retarded when he's acting retarded. Or a dumbass when he's acting like a dumbass. Or stupid when he's acting stupid, or ignorant bastard when he's acting like an ignorant bastard. Quit acting that way and I'll quit calling you those things. But you're the one who went batshit on me for just talking to you a little bit. And I knew where you were going the whole time, so I was just cutting you off before you even went there. Because I dealt with assholes like you before for 12 years on YouTube. And you're all the same. Or it's the same person pretending he's someone else. Same thing could be going on there. Could be even a female, again, or a team. A male and a female. That's the point too. And that's why I'm telling you what I'm telling you now. See, they don't want to listen. But I'm trying to make them listen to the facts. They don't want to hear the facts. Because they're lying. Not me. I'm telling the truth of what all that would mean. And they are the ones who are acting like they would coach the child into coming there with me, and then it would be on me. No, it's not. It's not 100% on me. It's still she said, he said, he said. In other words, two of you are ganging up on me, acting like you're the same person when you're not. One calling themselves a masculine figure, or one a feminine figure. And then that's the point there too. That means there's probably Sal and his girlfriend. Be honest. But I can't prove that legally, so I'm not worried about that either. It's just hearsay, talk. And you can't prove it or disprove it. That's the point. All right, well, I need to address 3 more comments left by Lenny. I've been trying to get my computer started again. Have to start it from scratch and put in some new